Hi, welcome to Need a Natter.
It's our brand new podcast, everybody. Welcome everyone. Woohoo! Although our schedules are at the end of our day, so we're all exhausted, but let's see how this goes. Shukti, what's the time in Mumbai?
1:17 over here, so I'm like at my end of my tether for the day.
1:17 in Mumbai. It is 47 minutes past 8 p.m. in the United Kingdom, where Shreeya and I are.
And still bright and sunny.
It's still bright and sunny. It's lovely here. It's very, very warm today as well. And what's it like in Mumbai? Nice and warm?
Here, they've been trying to, I think the gods have been trying to ape British weather. It has been raining, and then it's been sunny, then it'd be cloudy and rainy. I lost track of how many times it rained today, and then it was sunny.
It's not monsoon season, guys.
It kind of is like borderline monsoon season now, but it's been raining for on and off for a couple of weeks, so it's a little bit temperamental, hormonal, whatever it is. Anyway.
We wanted to talk to you all about something today. We had a topic, so let's see what we can. Let's see how this goes anyway on our topic. It's a very hot topic for us guys anyway.
Body image is our topic, and it's something that we've all kind of been talking about. We've been lately for a number of reasons, and we're all trying to get fit, but struggling due to multiple reasons. So should we talk about our individual journeys first, or how should we do this?
Do you want to kick off with your individual journey first, Shukti? Because there's a very, very important thing that's about to happen.
Yes. So so in about 9 months, I'm getting married.
Woohoo!
That could have gone either way just then with you saying 9 months.
9 months.
I was like, hold on a minute.
9 months. You wouldn't want to.
Well, in
honestly,
9 months, excuse me?
As a mother, you don't want to be worrying about body image during those 9 months, but
No.
these 9 months, maybe.
No, it's the other. It just happens to be in 9 months' time. I'm getting married. And what I've realised since entering the 30s is that the fat kind of sticks in places that it didn't when I was in my 20s, and it's a little difficult these days to shift. I have about 4 kilos that I'm trying to shift, and it's been 4 kilos that I'm trying to shift since about a month. I think you two have been hearing me saying I want to shift 4 kilos literally since the wedding got announced.
Yep.
Shift 4 kilos. And it's just not going, and I've tried everything. I'm doing intermittent fasting 18 hours a day. I'm calorie counting best I can, and not as well as I should be. And I'm trying to exercise every day for at least 45 minutes, if not more. But it's not shifting the way I want it to.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that no one tells you, that after your 20s, it sticks. Like, what's that saying? When things stick on a wall, what's the saying?
Is there a saying?
I don't know.
When mud sticks on a wall. What is it?
The only thing I've tried was spaghetti sticking on the wall to check if it's done.
But that's not guaranteed, innit? Like, if it's
I don't know,
then it won't stick. It'll stick when it's done. So basically, I'm done.
Anywho's moving
I'm
on.
not sure this is the catchphrase.
It's on a wall when it's 30 odd years old. That's what it means.
Okay, so what have you been doing to shift the weight then? What have you been doing?
I just told you.
She just told you she's intermittent.
I'm intermittent.
But you didn't. She's
doing Zumba. She's dancing.
Okay,
oh
sorry.
Oh my god!
3 of us have been doing Zumba regularly. Like on FaceTime, all of us across the oceans that we are, divided by or split up by or what, I don't know. But we've been on FaceTime doing like Bollywood Zumba or like hip hop Zumba. But hip hop Zumba was actually a bit of a flop. Like, it didn't burn as many calories.
Bollywood Zumba is where it's at.
It's where it's at. Guys. I get so much more into it when it's Bollywood Zumba.
That's the good stuff. That is the good stuff. That really, and it's fun. And it
is fun. I think it's the one kind of workout that I actually enjoy.
Yeah,
it's one I can stick to and not really worry about too much either.
But having said that, right, 5 years ago during COVID, obviously I was 5 years younger, Shreeya and I did yoga every day, religiously every day. Not necessarily for a long amount of time. Sometimes when we were feeling lazy, it'd be 10 minutes. Sometimes it'd be like an hour and a half. And it was just, but it was consistently every day. And then, and I was counting my calories. I wasn't doing intermittent then, but I was counting my calories and I'd lost 10 kilos. But now, with 5 years further into my 30s, it's spaghetti on the wall. That's not the right.
Yeah. We should coin that term if it's not a term yet. Honestly, no, I totally get you. I mean, it's been hard for me for a completely different reason, like the entire weight loss journey. But I totally get you because my body has changed in a way that I never expected. I have always been straight up and down, no really curves to talk about, and being able to fit into things and not worry about, oh, is the size going to be right for me? I knew that, it's a size 10, it's going to fit me no matter what. And now I've grown in places that I didn't expect. So it's kind of like, it's more of a struggle.
That's because of the kids though as well, isn't it?
That's because of the kids, but it's because of the kids, but I get it. But it's age as well though, like, because I remember at 28, I gained a lot of weight at 28. And that hit me a little bit because prior to that, I'd always been able to. And I think it's really important to mention that we had a very active lifestyle around about that time. All three of us, we were very, very active. And it was just going on holiday 3 times that year that just piled on the weight because I love my food. And it was one of those things that happened. And then I realised one day that I couldn't quite button up a particular skirt the way I wanted it. The way I had been able to do it before. And I was like, this is not good. It's not looking good. But I was able to shed that weight so quickly. It was really, really easy to lose. I didn't have to do anything vigorous either. And I think I maintained that up until having children. And then, it's not been the same since then. And that was mid-30s to now pretty much, which is early 40s for me.
Yeah.
After the second kid, right?
After the second kid.
Yeah.
For sure, because with the second kid came other kind of medical issues. So I had a gallbladder attack and I had to have my gallbladder removed. I also broke a foot simultaneously, which, as you do, and became less active as a result. And I have a very sedentary job as well. Like I said before, I work in the introduction, if you listen to it, I work with numbers. So it's a desk job. I don't get to move about, and it just sticks and it just doesn't go. And I've been trying the same as you, been trying the Zumba, been calorie counting, doing the intermittent fasting as well. And nothing seems to be working very well as yet. So
not effectively as it used to, basically.
Not as effective as it used to be. Like, it's really, really, really hard to lose weight now. It's marginal gains.
Yeah. So I mean, across the board, whenever I've spoken to any woman after her 20s, it's pretty much the same experience that everybody's had, that fat sticks funny. Yeah. It's
really funny.
And it loves you more than Lord Almighty. Like
if fat distribution and if the fat distribution was like it is for the Kardashians, it'd be fine. But fat distribution's like in a really bizarre way. And it just changed.
But I think the fat distribution might be different after you've had kids, because I've not had kids in it, so I feel like it's not different to what it used to be. As in, the fat goes straight to my butt and my face, as it used to. Butt, face, and belly.
Yeah,
butt, face, and belly.
Legs are skinny. Butt, face, neck is skinny. Like everything else is like. Well, our legs anyway. We've got like horse legs.
We've got slim legs, all of us. I've recently developed a double chin. Never had it before. It's hello, where did you come from? Yeah, that's a new one for me. And also, I always had like skinny arms, but now I've got really conscious of my arms, which I probably shouldn't. But it is one of those things that probably relate to other things we're going to talk about later on, potentially.
This is something that Shreeya has yet to experience because she's just
hit 30 this year.
Hit 30.
So by the time, what happened with me was by the time I was 32, I was like, oh my God, what happened? That was the shock of my life, because it took me that long, genuinely took me that long to realise that it doesn't just come off like that. Melt in the middle chocolate pudding has stayed. Nothing from Friends. Moment on the lips, lifetime on the hips.
Left on the hips, yeah.
That's exactly what. But anyway, let's just should we? Because I mean, should we be that bothered as long as we have like the correct, as long as it's healthy? Because I don't think any of us are unhealthy in like our like we've not um crossed the limit of having so much fat on our bodies that it's unhealthy.
Yeah. And we're
I
all still very
think
active as well. Like we're all
I
still
think we
moving about and
I think we are active. I think what's important to note as well is that because of our ethnicity, our BMI, if like what is regarded as an average or normal BMI range for a Caucasian person, is very different to what it is for people of South Asian backgrounds. So my BMI pushes me into the overweight category. And I think anyone looking at me would probably not necessarily think that I'm overweight.
Yeah,
They'd
no.
probably say, oh, she's average. I think people would probably use this word average to describe me. But I'm technically slightly in the overweight category. And then accompanied with a few other health complications, I've got a requirement to lose weight. So I think my situation is a bit different from you two.
Yeah, mine is purely vanity that I want to look like I want to look in the wedding pictures.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, of
I
for
course.
don't
sure.
I don't want to look like something that I don't want to look like you know something that I don't necessarily
See yourself
think-
as.
yeah, I don't see myself as because I mean the
Mm.
majority of my life because we've been dancing so heck I mean until I came to Mumbai we were dancing crazy amount of hours.
Yeah.
And that's another thing actually that it probably helped with the weight loss.
Yeah, I'd say mine. I have a requirement to lose weight, but I do have that vanity side as well, in the sense that I hate photographs of myself because I think I look bigger. It
Yeah.
might just be the way my husband takes photographs of me that I just think they're really unflattering. Maybe he needs to pick a better angle, but I just look at all my pictures and I'm just thinking, oh, hideous, hideous, hideous. I don't like any of them, which is why I'm not going to be in any of my kids' pictures when they're older. They're going to say, "Oh, mummy didn't raise us, daddy did." It's one of those things that it's just, again, it just boils down to vanity. And I think we've all been preconditioned to think a certain way about, obviously our vanity stems from something.
Well, yeah, especially when we were raised in the 90s, right? Where models were so what do you call it? They were so prominent, weren't they?
ANTM as well did not help
Yes.
at
ANTM, I
all.
mean, we weren't really aspiring to be models on the show per se, but it was like, now I have been revisiting the episodes lately, and it is quite like, the girls plus size were like size 10s.
UK
Yeah.
size 10s, UK size
UK
10s.
size 10.
UK
Yeah.
size
Yeah,
10.
so
So,
absolutely tiny, and there were the guys plus size. But aside from that, it's kind of like the things that were said on the show, especially regarding weight, they're so problematic. Like I remember, I forgot the name of the model specifically, but it was that shoot that they did in Africa, and they were saying that she's gained a few pounds, which is why they got her to be
yeah.
the elephant.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Kenya.
Kenya, that's her name, yeah. And I was like, that's horrendous. Like most girls would like if they're left, they'll give it a limb, a vital organ to look like that. But at that time, I bought into it. That's the worrying thing, because now revisiting it with probably adult lenses and also the criticisms that's come with it, you think, oh, this is not quite right. I don't quite resonate with this anymore. But at the time, I believed it. I bought into it. I do think I was swayed by the whole thing, and it did affect my body image probably on a very kind of deep level that I didn't quite understand at the time.
But I do have to say, right, on the contrary, so this was the Western influence, right?
Yeah.
So obviously being British Asians, we are a hybrid of both ethnicities, really. Neither are we completely Indian in our mindset, nor are we totally British in our mindset. We're absolutely like a hybrid, a baby of both
Yeah.
things. So I do want to talk about the Eastern influence, right? So in the 90s, actually, the Bollywood actresses had quite a healthy body image.
Oh,
Yeah, they
definitely.
really did.
There were people like healthy as in it wasn't unattainable. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dixit, Sridevi, Juhi Chawla, these were the leading actresses, right, of the time. And you, you could be their size and you'd feel maybe a Kajol, these guys like
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
all attainable beauties. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, and that side of it was probably healthy, and the focus was more on the face and the expressions and the beauty of the
In the 90s in the UK, we had models like Kate Moss who were skeletal.
Yeah.
And that was the beauty image here. And I think we probably weren't regarded as the ideal in the United Kingdom. I wasn't anyway when I was growing up, because it was obviously a lot earlier than it was for you two.
Yeah.
I think that the only time that being of my ethnicity was regarded as marginally attractive was in the early 2000s. And that's when you got a kind of a cross-cultural thing where like the popular music at the time was R&B. So you got like that kind of thicker image. So it wasn't like the skeletal ladies. It was like had a thicker body image almost.
Yeah, and I was just mentioning the Spice Girls as well. I thought they were, I loved them. I was obsessed with them when I was in primary school. Like, you guys know, I mean, I don't know if Shreeya remembers because you must have been really little, but I was obsessed with the Spice Girls. And I think they provided such a good mixed bag of different sizes, different colours, different everything. Everything was just a assortment. And it was, I think they were quite good for it. But
the entire girl power thing was brilliant, I thought, in terms of, I thought it lifted a lot of girls up, and I think a lot of girls aspired to do more as well. I mean, just, thinking even past the body image thing, which I know is today's topic, but I think even further than that, I think it made it really powerful to be a woman for the first time in a very like in my entire existence. I don't think I ever thought that it was cooler to be a girl than at that point.
Yeah. But it did provide some kind of unity that, girls should stick together.
Yeah.
Which, having said that, I do still think this is probably something we want to talk about on a different topic.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
girls do have a issue with sticking together. I think we need more people more groups like the Spice Girls, and like because even, I mean, I hate to say it, and I really don't want to get sued on our first episode, but there were other bands, so I'm not going to name them. There were other bands, but you probably know who I'm talking about, where there was a trio, and there was one of them that was really prominent. And
at the front.
We all loved her, but she was really prominent, but it didn't provide that unity that I think
because the others were like backing dancers. It wasn't just trio groups, there were groups with actual lots and lots of members, and you have that one prominent figure right at the front, and she'd do all the singing and have all the fan base, and the others.
It was like that for a few others as well, wasn't it? There would be like a main person, and then there would be like another tier where there'll be like secondary people, and then third tier people would kind of be switched out quite often. And there'd be like auditions to replace them.
Members changing and all
it doesn't really seem like a unit then either, does it?
Yeah. It's like, the main member can't change, but everybody else can change. They're interchangeable almost. Yeah. So, totally get that.
It has got, I mean, this is one side of it, like what we've seen growing up. But just another thing that we did want to talk about was that how it has become a little these days. Okay, so our generation we've just spoken about the kind of representation that we had, but now the next generation who's growing up, who's impressionable, what we did want to talk about was who are they looking up to now, and is that beauty standard now attainable? Because there's so many cosmetic procedures that are happening. We don't even know how people looked originally, how they look at, and not that that's necessarily important, but it's putting a different level. It's putting something else in the girls and the boys actually growing up that we didn't ever have to deal with.
Yeah, it's about not feeling attractive unless you have a filter on, or thinking that there's a defect in your body because you don't look like so and so, and that it's fixable, and that's why it's a defect. Whereas it's just individuality, and I think that's the problem with it, and that's what makes me very, very nervous, especially as the mother of a daughter. I'm really, really concerned for who she looks up to, because I wouldn't say we had the best role models. We had a diverse range of role models, but in terms of beauty, like you mentioned, on the eastern side, beauty was attainable. Now it's completely unattainable. Like, it's switched from being more borderline attainable to absolutely never going to attain that naturally.
And it's not like the women in the 90s or before that weren't getting procedures done. They were, but they weren't selling it as something that, I do find it, I find it problematic when people don't talk about the procedures that they've had and it's evident. But then I also find it problematic, which might be silly of me, but I also find it problematic when they talk about it, that, oh yeah, I got these procedures done, then make it sound like
trivialize them, basically. They trivialize it.
It's, I don't know. I feel like role models should help people accept themselves for who they are.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, why is aging such a taboo? Like, there's hardly any actresses currently working who have not had ridiculous amount of procedures done.
Yeah. You don't know what it's like to look like a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old anymore, because it's been distorted.
Yeah.
And that distortion is the norm. And I think that's a massive problem, because it doesn't stop then, does it? It doesn't stop. It's not just impressionable young women. You've got older women now thinking that they're defective in some way, that, I've got something wrong, I need to fix it. And it's just aging, which is what should happen to everybody. And yeah, I just find it really, really sad. I find the lack of self-acceptance really sad. And also the fact that we've moved away from people saying, well, it's what's within that counts. I've not heard that phrase in a long time.
Either, like, what's on the inside.
That's true.
Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's not that anymore.
My doctor's going to be giving me. That's literally what it is. And at least in Hindi films, the younger lot is like they're pretty obviously going under the knife before they're getting launched. Not all of them. I think the ones that are doing that are cast in roles for their unique features, for their kind of, like, for example, if we watch something like, what's that show called with Jedi Beloved? Patalok.
Oh, Patalok, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Love the show. But if you watch something like that, obviously they're going to do the casting with people that are looking like regular people. But as soon as you go a little glossy, it becomes unattainable. So what are we telling our girls? Not just girls, I think guys have a lot of pressure.
Guys as well, 100%. I mean, I was talking about this to my husband a little while ago, and he was saying that he feels under pressure now to look a certain way, whereas I think I would say in his age category that the dad bod is quite, it's not seen as negative a light as, women aging is seen. However, he's feeling more and more under pressure to go to the gym, to look a certain way and to be presentable. I think if we were talking about 10 years ago, I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this, he probably wouldn't have, used a moisturizer on his face or anything, or worried about his skin or his appearance. And now it's becoming a majorly big deal for him, because he's like, I've got a public facing role, I've got to look the part. And it's not, he doesn't do anything glamorous for a living. It's a bit of a weird one.
So, actually, just talking about this same thing on the other side of the coin, I'll tell you what I'm dealing with. Okay, so as someone who's an aspiring director, okay, in Hindi films, what I often face, not if you step away from the chauvinistic part of it, because obviously it's a very male-dominated industry. Despite that, what I do find is that if I look younger, and if I do say
younger,
younger than I am, so I'm not taken as seriously because I look younger. So the place that I'm at is completely I can't win. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look a certain way on my wedding day. But then professionally that's going to take a hit, because all these older, not just men, older women, pompous people specifically, not actually, no, that's not even true. Even people who are lower down the pecking order don't take me as seriously if I don't look mature,
look the part in their eyes.
In their eyes, which and that's I'm a really weird, and I think Shrees, you might be as well.
You are as well.
Oh, massively. Because everyone, like, I've just turned 30 this year, but people still think that, and I have aged quite a bit recently, I've noticed. I don't know if it's noticeable to other people, but I have noticed that I've aged quite a bit in my face recently. But still people think that I'm like in my early 20s.
Might be your voice.
So pardon?
I think you've got a very kind of youthful voice. I think that's part of the reason.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. And we're very petite.
So yeah, I get that a lot.
We're very petite in like size wise. We're not very big.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing actually. So if I was taller, if I wasn't 5'2.5", and I was
if I was a baller, sorry,
then I'm pretty sure the people on set would take me seriously. So what I've had to end up doing the past, I'd probably say post-COVID, is have my like mean face on all the time, which isn't me. Like
Your RBF.
Yeah, I can be a little snappy at times, which is
and it's got its own connotations when a woman's got a mean face on, right?
Yeah, but again, it's just the whole thing. It's not about what I'm capable of. It's body image. It all boils down to body image, which is our topic. And so just to bring it back to that you get it's crazy that you get judged so hard on the way that you look, and what's in the mind is just seen. It's not even seen. It's not even seen half the time. And unless you get an opportunity to prove yourself, but the industry that I'm in, getting an opportunity is difficult in the first place when you're not from the industry.
Speaking of the industry, though, don't you think that there's a real danger now with AI as well in that kind of imaging, that we're not going to go back to anything looking normal, remotely normal, anytime soon?
Yeah.
It's going to get more and more morphed into this idealistic view.
Yeah.
Which is going to take us further and further away from what is a normal person looks like, and that it's got its own issues as well.
Yeah, AI in general is, as of like from where I'm looking at it from now, not just with the body image issue, on all levels is going to eat up jobs. Of everyone who is like one film, up to like 400 people are earning from one film. How many of those jobs will be required if it's AI generated? Hardly any. But anyway, this is a topic for another day. But back to the AI.
For sure. I mean, it's AI, it's filtering, it's all of those enhancements, which mean that nobody that you see on TV or in cinema is a real person anymore.
Yeah.
Even down to, right? And I don't know when this started, like the technology that starts. So a lot of I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but anyway, I'm just going to say it. So a lot of the what happens in the post-production is that you obviously emphasize the beauty of everybody. And I actually don't know when this technology started, but that's why. But I do think that when I talk to my boss, or when I talk to old school people, that was more a play on lighting, whereas now a lot of things can be corrected. Like if you have a zit, like you got a pimple or something, you got a spot, that can be cleaned up, right? So whereas we've grown up seeing Madhuri Dixit with
pimples.
And she has, despite being, her weight was fluctuating, she's been our favourite actress growing up.
She was our favourite. She was our idol. We all wanted to be her at one point. It was like,
and I think Julie Chawla was probably Shreeya's.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And she was again not skinny ever. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not attainable for some of us. Some people struggle to gain weight. I know that some people do struggle to gain weight, but then they get the other side of it that we don't, where it's like, oh, you're so skinny, you must not eat, or you know what I mean? It's so weird.
Yeah,
we're at such a weird, I don't know, juxtaposition maybe that.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, do you guys find, stepping away from that topic, like from film and TV to like more real life stuff, do you guys find that fashion is as inclusive as it used to be? And is it, I think in a way it's more individualized, so it doesn't really matter about maybe the brands that were, the important things in the 90s. Maybe it's kind of more along the lines of you be you. But in terms of how you look when you wear your regular clothing, I think that's taken a bit of a hit because shapewear is so popular now. I've even seen shapewear for men.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of like, oh right, I'm gonna wear these like tight fitting clothes, but I'm gonna like literally be starve all evening because I'm not gonna be able to eat anything or sit down. And just be uncomfortable all the time. But I'm finding that not so much the other stuff that we had. Like, you remember, like in the 90s, you guys remember, well, you probably not so much, Shreeya, but we used to wear heels all the time. And our feet were like
I remember.
deformed.
You guys wore heels all around Rome. Do you remember that?
So I used to do like 8-hour shifts at Next. Yes, the store Next. With my shoes on, like how big were they? Like 4-inch heels. And that included running up to the stock room, which was up 2 flights of stairs every time somebody wanted something that was on the shop floor. Running back down, running up, and I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing at Gap. It was bananas, but it was the norm. But now it's like I'll be honest, in terms of, I don't know where to shop anymore. And where does someone who's barely into their 40s shop? Everything seems to be either cropped, and I can't have my belly out unless it's an ironing board. And, you know, like I feel really self-conscious anyway. I think some people, you know, for some people you do you, but for me, I think because I've been so preconditioned that if it's not looking perfect, I'm not having it out. I want to kind of be a bit more modest and cover up, but it's kind of like old frumpy women's wear, or bear it all, or suck it all in with some kind of shapewear.
Yeah.
To try and fit into something that I'm not. I just don't find it. I don't know if you guys are finding that yet. Probably not.
I don't get why there is so many crop tops, because I cannot find full length t-shirts ever. It's either oversized completely, like I have to wear an oversized t-shirt with leggings, or it's a crop top. There's no like regular size t-shirts anymore.
I'll be honest, I wore a maternity dress yesterday just because I could not find anything that looked remotely presentable that would fit. And I look ridiculous and frumpy, but I don't have anything else that kind of fit. And it was kind of sad.
But you know what? Maybe this is why the high street's taking a hit. I think we've got the answer, the solution to all the businesses, why they're all going make t-shirts that fit us properly.
Oh my God, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But not our butts. Yeah. Not oversized, but not short. Like normal tops.
Normal
just
tops.
How they used to be. Just
yeah.
And what was wrong with how they used to be? I don't know.
You know, jeans that are built for butts. Please, can we have jeans that are built for butts and hips?
No, to be fair, that has never happened.
It hasn't.
A butt since I was probably born with one, I think, and I've always had to do 3 jumps to get my jeans up my.
See, I never had that problem until I had kids, so I now understand what
there
that's like.
is this thing that happens though. When I realised that I wasn't fitting into my jeans, it wasn't because I gained a butt. I actually lost my butt from turning vegan, right? So after losing my butt, why was I then not fitting into my jeans? It was because my hips were like, why are you two laughing like that?
Oh, because... So because you did a thumbs up, and the thumbs up, the emoji thing came up on the screen in a bubble. That new thing that happened.
We tried so hard.
We try to compose ourselves. Anyway, carry on, quick.
So, yeah, my hips grew. Like, why is that not something that you told me would happen?
I think we all grew in different ways. And at different times, in different ways.
My God, so, my hips, there was just one day that I was like, oh my God, my jeans are not fitting. Like, what happened? And it was sure enough, my hips had just got wider.
That means you're ready to have babies now.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Nature's telling you have babies.
Nature's telling you that you are now ready. The pelvis is wide enough.
You guys have seen the Animal, right?
Oh my God. Do not get me started on that film.
It's not time.
I have
issues.
It is not
time.
Now you have a wide pelvis, and that's what apparently alpha males get. What was that rubbish that you said?
Oh, I'll be honest. I had no wide pelvis. I had 2 babies. Now I have a wide pelvis. I don't need one.
No, but yeah, this didn't happen to me. Like I told you what happened to me. Face, butt, belly. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, my face is humongous right now, and I just don't know how to get rid of my face. It's doubled in size, literally. It's like heat expansion almost. I don't even know how to get it down. No amount of contouring will help me right now.
Yeah. Contouring after a while just doesn't really do anything apart from
it. Doesn't do anything.
I do it properly. I'll have to say, like, I'm not.
I have followed every tutorial on planet Earth, I believe, and it just makes it look like I've tanned funny. But I probably have. So over to the next thing that I want to mention as well is that, have you seen, like, I mean, we might think that we're pressurized into a certain beauty standard here in the, either in the United Kingdom or over in India. I still think we're a little bit on the healthier side in terms of body shape when you compare us to countries such as China, because I saw this thing online. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know how true this is in terms of what the beauty standard is over there, but they literally had this A4 size sheet of paper and they were holding it up against their waist. And if you were bigger than that, that meant you were, inverted commas, fat.
What?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
A4.
Yeah. So it's on this thing called it's on this channel called, I saw it on a channel called Asian Boss. And by the way, it's
out of the A4 sheet.
We're talking not landscape, we're talking portrait here.
I am portrait.
Portrait?
No, I'm just saying we're talking portrait, not landscape here.
No, I don't understand. I don't know. Wait. This goes across, the A4 sheet goes across your tummy, not on the side?
Yeah, not on the side, across your tummy, across the front of your tummy.
The front? Oh
Yes.
my lord.
How do you lose weight from the sides?
You're supposed to have that hourglass shape, and
Size
the
plank.
center of your stomach is supposed to be that size.
I can't do that. See, that for me is maybe, okay, so this might be something to do with ethnicity, because I do.
So I saw it on, I saw
reckon
it on a show called Asian Boss. So they do like street interviews around Asia. Shout out to you guys, Asian Boss. And they were doing it, and they were doing this activity on the street, and they're getting these ladies to hold this up, and it was the comments that the ladies were making as well. They were all stunningly beautiful, all very, very slim, and they were all making very derogatory comments about themselves. And I was thinking, this is like the saddest thing I've seen all day. And as someone who's slightly bigger, I kind of felt a bit like, oh well, I wonder what their opinion would be of me. And it did cross my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, if I travel to the Far East, for example, where would I buy clothes? Because have you seen some of the shops that they have there and what they're titled?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
Please, you have to tell me.
So basically they've got shops that are titled Fat Mama, or literally something like that. I'm picking one out of the air there. Places just this is throughout the Far East. We're talking about like Japan.
There's loads of videos online about it.
So it's like, I must be enormous to them. And it's like, if I go on holiday there, what are they going to think? First of all, she's a different ethnicity for starters, and then she's an absolute beast. I just don't know. So I do worry about that a little more, especially because we live in a much more globalized world than what we grew up in. So you see images of beauty from outside your immediate bubble. And then you are exposing yourself in a way. Sometimes if you have if you have got your profile in a public setting, you're exposing yourself to comments from around the world as well. And sometimes you might have a perfectly healthy body image, but someone who's got a slightly different body image is going to say, body shame you in some way. And it's that I still think we've not quite got there. And obviously we talk about places like South Korea where, cosmetic surgery is the norm. People get it as a 16th birthday present. Oh my God. And it's seen as something, very fixable, very easily fixable as well. So it's kind of sad. But
that is sad. You know what? There's something else as well that we didn't factor in. I don't know if it kind of comes under the same thing, but skin color.
Oh, colorism.
About skin color here, okay? About how obsessed. All right, and I know it's not just Indians; it's South Asians in general. It's Indian Asians as well. It's also like in Africa, there's also an issue. Probably in the Middle East as well. I don't know where it's not an issue. I don't know where.
I think you can cut it off at, Western Europe, and the further west, everyone wants to tan. Yeah. And everywhere to the east of that, people want to get lighter. And it's not even down to colonialism. A lot of people are like, I've heard a lot of Indians say specifically that, this is down to colonialism. I disagree, because I think it's more to do with, not specifically to India, but I think a lot of other Far Eastern countries were never colonized in the first place. So they can't have it down to, it's not that. It's more of a classist thing, because like the poorer people went out to work, so they tanned, whereas the richer people, they didn't tan. And that's why they've got the concept of umbrellas when they go out in the sun, which is, unfathomable. in the United Kingdom, we kind of pray for sunny weather.
Yeah.
But, you know, they've obviously got umbrellas that they use there. And, you know, like sunscreen is such a big thing. Like now. And it wasn't when we were growing up. I don't remember using sunscreen at all.
No. And I was like, you have to wear sun cream even if you're indoors because the UVs will still go to you.
Yeah.
But I think it's so apparent, okay, that like people, I know, and I just wish there was more representation of people with a tan and like darker skin tones. I wish there was, because it's still not accepted. Like I've heard the most, being in the film industry, and I'm not saying people in the industry have this kind of discrimination, because that's not where I've seen it. I've not seen that, oh, we only want to cast fair-skinned women. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that conversations that I've had with people off set, or, you know, amongst the teams that maybe I've worked with, which again is a group of 400 people or so, you know, they will generally find somebody attractive, or assume that a person is rich, or assume that a person, I don't know, is strange, but they get drawn to people who are fairer skin. Not just in the film industry, like even when we've gone and visited some relatives who we have around.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
You know, I've literally been this, you know, one of our people, I'm not going to say who they were, their friends, one of our relatives, their friends shoved their son in my face and said, "Oh yeah, look at him, he could be an actor, why didn't you cast him?" And the reason was purely because he is fair and has blue eyes. And I'm like, you know what's act would be the first thing.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? I think the representation is better of how Asian people are presented in films in the Western world. But I know you're talking, besides that point, you're talking like real life attitudes, right?
Yeah.
In real life, if we're going to talk real life, the amount of rejections I got, and I went through the arranged marriage route initially when I was looking for a spouse. And I thought that, you know, I thought that I had a lot to give. I thought I had a lot to offer. I thought I was a good catch. Oh my God, the way I got cut down by people purely on the basis of skin colour and height, but that's a secondary problem. But it was always...
Height's a thing as well.
Height's a thing.
Oh my God.
Height's a thing. But it was like height. And it was like, how does that determine whether or not I'm a good partner? The fact that I'm darker skinned than you would like.
Yeah.
And there's this entire almost class connotation when you associate yourself with a slightly darker skin tone. I was told to my face that you must not be the caste that I assume you to be based on your surname because you're darker skinned. I've been told that to my face while I was working, and I was just working in the shop at the time, and someone actually said that to me, and I was like, what on earth does that mean?
Yeah, what are you...
I'm dark skinned because I did not use sunscreen as a child. You know,
I don't even think... I think we are a medium, right?
Yeah.
We if you look at the range of colours that come under brown, we are probably slap bang in the middle. So for anyone, and it doesn't even matter where we are on the spectrum of colours, you know what I mean? That doesn't matter. But the kind of obsession with having fair skin is unhealthy. It's literally unhealthy. Like, you know, people be like, oh, you know, there's, you know, a couple lads that I have crossed paths with in my life, and if we've ever talked about like our girls that they might be dating or whatever, so one of the lads literally said to me that, oh yeah, she's so beautiful, she's white, and I'm like,
yeah,
and bearing in mind, we aren't talking about Caucasian white, we're talking about an Indian girl who's got fair skin, and she has been told, and the same guy has never ever referred to a lady or a woman or whatever with a tan as a beautiful because she's brown. You know, that's on some level. Honey Singh, man. Honey Singh's done it good.
He has.
Great.
To be, you know, you say this whilst being in India. I saw it happening at uni. So like uni was probably the first time that I was exposed to ethnic minority groups, let's just put it that way, because we grew up in a very predominantly white area. We went to school with predominantly white kids, Caucasian, when I say white. And there was I never thought of colorism in as a thing. First of all, I thought that, some members of the family had a bit of fixation that maybe you rub this on your face and you become light skinned. I personally did not understand why that was a thing. But and I didn't know that how deep it ran either. I thought maybe it was just a quirk that a particular family member had at the time. But at uni, there were in the United Kingdom, there were people, literally lads, that would go and refer to a girl in a very derogatory way because she's slightly darker skinned. Like, and I wouldn't date her. I wouldn't date her because she's like that, like she's beneath me in a way. And we're talking about, not India, not Pakistan, not anywhere in South Asia, not anywhere in, Eastern Asia. We're talking about here in the United Kingdom. And that's when I first realized, like, oh my God, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I've seen examples everywhere. I mean, you talked about the 90s actresses earlier, Shukti. They have got progressively lighter in skin. All of them are like, they're not the colour they used to be. They don't look like they did when we saw them on screen.
Again, you're talking about the glossy film actresses, right? Not
the glossy ones. I'm talking about the glossy ones.
Real looking things.
Yeah. But none of them, like all the ones that I used to relate to as a as a young lady, I used to always think, or a child, I used to think, oh my gosh, I would never think of skin tone. That never even crossed my mind for a second, that, oh my gosh, that, some people say, oh, she is dark, but she's pretty. And they add the word but. That word but never figured in my vocabulary, because I just thought, oh, she's beautiful. This woman is beautiful and she looks so real. And now that woman who I thought was beautiful and real is no longer beautiful. Well, she's beautiful still, but she's no longer real. She's no longer as she was, basically. She's not in a natural form. Yeah. And I find that kind of sad, the fact that they are all, fixing that inverted commas seen problem.
So coming from them wanting to get accepted and therefore changing things on their body. This isn't them. So basically you're saying the ones that have entered the film industry a certain way and then have evolved over the time, right?
Yeah.
So that is that's worrying, isn't it? That's what people want. Whereas I think, I don't know. Oh gosh, it's.
We love them the way they were. We love them the way they were. They got all the kind of love and respect.
Yeah.
And this takes it away from just the cosmetic procedures, because I don't judge people who get a bit of Botox here and there. Get fillers. You do you. You've got the money. You do it, right? You do it. If I had the money, God knows what I'd do. But quite frankly, you do you. Is the fact that they've become lighter skinned. They've gone from, say, my colour to the colour of a magnolia wall. And that has not happened naturally. There is no way that can happen naturally. And they'll say things like, we use sunscreen now, we stay indoors. Firstly, what a sad life. And secondly, that's not true. That's not how it works.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is quite problematic, isn't it? The general way in which I think people in general, women are seen by other humans generally, and the way men are seen as well, although that's not our area of expertise, so we've not delved into it too much.
Right. No, maybe one day we could get a boy to join in with this chat and maybe give their perspective.
The only thing that I feel like boys that I have seen and I'm aware of is boys feeling that they have to be a particular height.
Definitely.
Height's a big thing.
Right. Height's a big thing. Buffness is a big thing as well, in the sense that, like how muscular they want to be versus how muscular women want them to be. I saw another street interview. I must have a lot of idle time because I've seen a lot of these street interviews, but they showed a range of photographs to a woman and said, what's your ideal body type? And they chose medium athletic, like someone, without, too much extra fat, but athletic. And men, for their ideal, size, they picked like the buffest body.
Of course they did.
Because there's a disconnect. Like, I don't think us ladies are that fussy, but us ladies are fussy about height.
Yeah.
That's something that we have to take a hit on. Like, you can't blame it on the men all the time. We have quite big demand when it comes to height.
That might be other women. We at least.
We don't.
Tall enough that we've barely met any guys that are short. Like, barely met any guys that are shorter than us. Like,
I definitely haven't, unless they're a child.
Like,
no.
You know what? Whenever, do you know what? This is going to sound so bad. But okay, so there's this thing called Swiggy over here, right? Where you can like order your groceries and whatever you like within 10 minutes. I don't know why I'm plugging this thing, but anyway, I love it. So basically, but I run out of things all the time, and I'm not organized enough to have like a proper map in my mind of all the things that I have in the house. And so I run out of things regularly, which did because I was making rice today and I ran out of day like midway. So I had to order it from Swiggy. The highlight of my day is usually when there's a delivery guy who's smaller than me. And I'm like, yes! I do think boys have different pressures on them than we
do. They do. Although some of those pressures are being taken away, and that's probably for another time in terms of being the sole breadwinner for the household. I think that's being shared quite nicely. But
but at least in terms of body image, I don't think it's something that we really fully would be able to understand unless we chat with one. And maybe we can have some of the boys in our life on at another time and have the same chat with them, like how are they perceived by society, or how do they perceive how men are seen as or expected to be in society.
But you know what? You know what's interesting though? When you look at especially Indian film actresses versus the men, you see much more of a difference in how women are, how women were versus how they are versus the men. I think back then there was still this thing about the man being maybe the handsome thing's gone. Maybe the emphasis on the men being extremely handsome, because I think that was more of a thing in the past, whereas now it's more about the body.
It's definitely about the body now, I think.
It's more about the body, but
no, again, it isn't. It depends what kind of
film it is.
Doing,
it depends on the film.
You have action films where you need the character requires the body. Whereas rom-coms, you don't really, you just have to look good. But at the same time, there's the real life stuff which has been totally taken over by Rajkumar Rao, Ayushmann Khurrana. Actually, there's only one film I think where he was like buff in what was it called? Action
hero.
Yeah. So, but the rest of the time they have like the normal average guy kind of look about them.
Average Joe kind of look,
I think with guys, there's more of a mixed bag, whereas the girls kind of come in like the same shape and size.
I find that kind of if I was an aspiring actress right now, I'd feel so suffocated by that. I mean, I really feel for them. I know that they've picked, you've got to pick the profession with a massive degree of caution for a lot of other reasons as well. But I think especially like the image that is out now, and it's like cookie cutter almost. You have to be skinny as, you have to be magnolia coloured, you have to be, all of those things, and prepared to wear skimpy outfits and all that kind of stuff. You have to subscribe to all of that in order to be especially in like even actresses who didn't have that image are now moving towards that image. So I find that really kind of saddening, because we're getting that representation taken out, whereas I think Hollywood's doing it fab. But I mean, especially on the colorism front, if not the size front, I think even Hollywood's very, very guilty of having very, I can't even speak anymore, and very cookie cutter sized women. So all the lead actresses are very slim, they're very pretty. But in terms of especially like Asian representation, they're doing a fab job in terms of, like colour variety and all of that. I think they're doing a great job there. I love to see more of us in the Western world. We didn't have that.
No, we didn't
have that visibility at all.
It has been a huge change. So I think that is a good thing. Sometimes I feel like it's unnecessary, if I'm honest. It's overkill. Like there's some characters that we've seen a particular way. Not just that, not even just some characters, because even then you can experiment, that's fine. But like if you'll watch, I don't know, like a web series, and for no reason, there's such a huge like range of different ethnicities just for like literally no reason. So that kind of I find it a bit jarring to watch it, because it doesn't look like we're talking about one community. It looks like we're talking about a mixture, like it's evidently mixed, you know what I mean?
I remember a film that got particularly panned for it, and it was The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. I should be able to say his name because I'm Indian, but I can't. But you know who I'm talking about. So the last Airbender. Do you remember? Like, I think Shreeya used to watch the cartoon series,
Avatar.
right?
Oh my god, loved it.
Avatar, right?
I wanted to be that.
And
I wanted to be that.
Yeah, exactly. So when they made it into a film, I think a lot of people criticised the fact that it had representation from all over the world, and people didn't expect to see that in the film. So I think that's where they got it wrong. But,
yeah, it just changed the concept of the thing, which was just unnecessary.
Well, I think we should probably wrap up there because we're all getting a bit tired as well. And I think, you know, some of us need a nap. I certainly do.
But we need to go to bed.
I need to go to bed. That's called a nap for me. I literally get 4 hours if I'm lucky, right? Yeah, life of a mum, something to talk about in the future. But if you liked our conversation today, and if you want to hear more such conversations with us, maybe some shorter ones, maybe a little bit longer ones, but feel free to join us. In fact, definitely join us and tell your friends about us as well, because we want to join as many of you into our community as possible. It'd be nice to have as many of you as possible.
And do all the things that all the other people tell you at the end of the recordings, like subscribe and like,
subscribe, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to talk about.
Exactly. Tell us what you want us to talk about, because we can talk, as you can tell.
As you can tell. This is unscripted. Like, this is just us nattering because we needed a natter at this hour. It's 2:15, guys. It's 2:15. Over and out.